You blinked, and the 2010 trends are back in fashion, and they're already super popular for fall 2025 and winter 2026. So, come with me, because you probably already have many of them in your closet. In 10th place on our list, we have the skinny jeans. Those who know the channel know that skinny jeans never go out of style. After all, we're talking about a super versatile, super practical piece, ideal even for the colder seasons, like fall and winter. It's excellent, guys. If you have a slightly taller boot, whether it's a riding boot or even an over-the-knee boot, you need a pair of skinny jeans to wear with it. In 2010, these jeans were extremely tight and were often worn with ballet flats or strappy sandals, and sometimes even with platform shoes. This style was part of the street style, and of course was very present among celebrities at the time. For 2026, you can go for a slightly more sophisticated, more elegant skinny, now paired with more refined heels, like the slingback. You can also go for block heels, which bring more comfort and practicality to your daily life. If you want to be a bit bolder, sandals made from materials like wood and straw will create an interesting contrast. Pairing them with a blazer also brings a strong 2010 vibe, when it was common to mix casual with that office style. But you don't have to go for that oversized, loose blazer. I'd recommend going for a slightly more fitted one. For everyday wear, you can style them with basic t-shirts. After all, the famous t-shirts are super trendy and will create a very casual and simple look. You can also wear these jeans with sneakers. A simple pair of sneakers will make your outfit look youthful and practical for daily wear. If you want a slightly sexier touch, pair them with a silk blouse and, of course, a thin belt, which adds that minimalist touch that's also trending for 2026. If you want some outfit suggestions, I'd say go for a darker skinny jean without too many details, because even though we're talking about a time with lots of glitter and sequins, I think for day-to-day wear, a raw dark skinny without any washes or chemical treatments will be much easier to style. You can also pair it with a tweed blazer to bring that Chanel vibe to your look, a basic white t-shirt, and a slingback matching the t-shirt. So, if you go for a white t-shirt, a white slingback; if you choose a black t-shirt, a black slingback, this will bring a lot of harmony to your outfit. And, of course, among the 2010 trends that are back, you can finish this look with a maxi bag perfect for shopping, a very current look with a 2010 celebrity vibe. In 9th place, we have a trend that's already very fashionable: embellished pieces, which can be metallic embellishments or shiny ones. Here we have a big reference to the 2010s, when metallics reigned. We had lots of studs, eyelets, and spikes that appeared both on leather jackets and lame pants, with accessories all within that indie aesthetic, as well as ones that appeared a lot within the Tumblr aesthetic. Those who remember the Tumblr era know that these kinds of pieces were everywhere. After all, they could even be styled at home, so people would get creative when making them. In 2025 and 2026, this trend is coming back. You've probably already seen, somewhere near you, ballet flats, jackets, or even pants with some kind of embellishment. Especially when we talk about metallic details, they're everywhere. You can start small. I always recommend here on the channel that you don't jump straight into a big piece, especially if you're unsure. So, if you like this type of embellishment, start with shoes, a bag, or a smaller accessory. Lately, I've been seeing many ballet flats with metallic embellishments, and they create a super interesting look. They also work very well with a rebel chic style, which is super trendy for 2026. You can even go for an entire look within this aesthetic. You can choose a leather jacket or a darker denim jacket with studs or eyelets. It doesn't have to be anything big or bulky, just a detail or two is enough. You can pair it with a metallic top or one with some shine. Remember that unique tank tops are super in right now, so you can match them with a sequin tank top. For example, it works great with a midi black skirt or a mini skirt if you prefer. And of course, finish it all off with a great pair of combat boots. This way, you'll have that rocker rebel Tumblr 2010 look, but one that works perfectly in 2026. Isn't that great? Also, this is a trend that promises to stay strong. And if you want to save money, you don't even have to buy a new piece. You can style one yourself by buying kits that come with spikes, studs, and eyelets. Then, you can apply them wherever you want on shoes, jackets, or jeans. So, get creative, grab that cheap thrift store piece, and customize it your way. In 8th place, we have a trend that had been a bit set aside, but is now making a strong comeback in platform shoes. Back in 2010, they were everywhere, guys. It was sandals upon sandals. You would find platforms in everything, even in those shoes that imitated sneakers with platforms. Do you remember that trend? It was huge in 2010. In fact, This type of shoe that mimics a sneaker with a platform was in style last year. It was short-lived, not super strong, but it has everything to come back in full force for 2026. Nowadays, you can find all kinds of platform shoes. Whether it's a Mary Jane or a loafer, you can use your creativity. Whatever you imagine, you'll find a platform version of it. I find platforms super interesting. I even think they bring a small reference to the 60s and 70s, which adds a lot of creativity. I think it's a piece that looks great, especially in outfits with a retro, vintage vibe. It goes well with mini skirts and also with midi skirt looks, especially those that have a fresher, spring, or summer feel. It will look super stylish. You can add platforms to the shoes you already like to wear. So, if you already like boots, you can try a boot with a platform. If you already like Mary Janes, like I do, you can try a Mary Jane in a platform version. I'm biased because I think platforms are super interesting, but I know not everyone likes them. Platforms have this more youthful, creative vibe. They're not that super elegant or sophisticated piece. They're a bit more casual, laid back, and fun. So, I really recommend them for those with a younger spirit. If your style is very traditional, if you like something very elegant, I'd say stick to shoes without platforms. The same goes for shoes with chunky soles. If you're very traditional, avoid this kind of shoe, as it can make the look heavier. Now, if you like a slightly more alternative style, platform shoes will definitely be perfect for you. People with alternative styles usually rock it when it comes to these types of shoes, because here, you can really use a lot of creativity. I would totally pair a Mary Jane platform shoe with a preppy style outfit. Something in light blue, light pink, or yellow, something very soft with that rich girl vibe, clueless style. Tell me, what do you think? Will you be wearing platforms, or are you tired of this trend and won't be wearing them in 2026? In 7th place, we have the peplum blouse. Guys, I think this blouse is amazing. I'm a millennial, right? And millennials love a peplum blouse, but I know not everyone does. Back in 2010, it was a huge hit. It's a blouse that's a bit more fitted at the top, and from the waist down, it has a ruffle. It was often worn with skinny jeans or a pencil skirt. Almost all 2010 references you could find would be with skinny jeans or a pencil skirt, and I think both styles match this trend really well. Currently, it has reappeared and was even featured heavily in a recent Givenchy runway show. So, you'll definitely be seeing this trend next year. It can also be worn in more modern ways. You don't have to wear that super 2010 style peplum. You can go for a softer cut with a flowier fabric, which will bring more sophistication. It also doesn't have to be completely straight. You can create a ruffle with a slightly pointed shape, making it look different from the peplum blouses we were used to seeing. I really like this blouse, especially for women who want to hide a little tummy. I'm not talking about a big belly. I mean that small belly pouch that insists on showing. No matter how much you work out, this blouse will disguise it, and I think it's amazing. I even joke with my husband that this is the barbecue blouse. You know when you go to a party and want to eat a lot? Or that family holiday lunch when you know there will be 5 different desserts to try? This is the blouse you choose. Why? Because it will fit snugly at your waist and leave your tummy area free so you can eat comfortably. It's also a blouse I highly recommend for pregnant women, as it will bring comfort, especially in early pregnancy or postpartum. This blouse will make you feel very comfortable. A more modern way to wear it is with a skirt, especially an A-line skirt, something flowy, flared, and loose. It can be a pleated skirt, a plissé skirt, but preferably one where the blouse's ruffle follows the skirt's shape. So, choose skirts without sharply defined pleats, with more rounded volume, not too square or rigid. This will make the look softer. Another tip is to create a monochromatic outfit, as this will also bring more harmony and sophistication to your look. And of course, to avoid looking dated, don't wear it exactly like in 2010. So, if back then it was mostly paired with skinny jeans and pencil skirts, now we're wearing it with looser pants, like wide-leg trousers, or looser skirts, like midi A-line skirts. So, do you already have a peplum blouse in your closet? Tell me. In 6th place, we have an item that has also made a huge comeback: oversized sunglasses. Back in 2010, these oversized frames often had a more square or cat-eye style. They even carried a certain celebrity status. They could be transparent, mirrored, or even colorful, and matched perfectly with that Tumblr aesthetic of the time. You might remember several singers wearing these very large sunglasses, usually paired with a slightly colorful touch to grab attention. In 2026, you can reinvent the use of these sunglasses sunglasses in a slightly more minimalist or even eccentric version if you prefer, but still keeping that larger proportion. I always recommend oversized sunglasses for people with slightly longer faces, though that doesn't mean that if you have a shorter face, you can't wear them. Oversized sunglasses, to me, are super stylish. I think that when someone, regardless of face shape, puts on large sunglasses with a colorful frame, it looks amazing. You can tell from a distance that this person has great style. But of course, depending on the frame shape, you'll get different benefits. For example, women with longer faces, with a slightly elongated chin, should go for aviator-style frames, as they shorten the face. If you want your face to appear a little rounder, choose rounder frames, as they will highlight your softer facial features. If you want your face to appear more angular, choose square frames, as they will add more definition. So, if you want a rounder face, go for round frames. If you want a more angular face, go for square frames. It's a basic, simple trick that makes a big difference. And if your eyes droop slightly, if you have a slightly hooded lid, and your gaze tilts slightly downward, like mine, by the way, no judgment here, I recommend cat eye frames. Cat eye frames, whether for sunglasses or prescription glasses, lift the gaze. So, if you want an accessory that gives you a free eye lift, this is it. They lift the eyes and even rejuvenate your look. So, if you feel like your eyes are looking a bit droopy, go for cat eye glasses. And tell me, which 2010 trend do you want to see come back? And which one do you hope stays gone? I'll admit I've always liked those adorned collars with embellishments and designs. I thought they were adorable, maybe not your style, but I liked them. Let me know in the comments. And of course, you can help me a lot by writing today's magic phrase, back in style 2026. Your comment helps me keep bringing you daily videos. In fifth place, we have statement necklaces. Who doesn't remember the bold statement necklaces of 2010? This was such a strong trend. I remember that, at the time, I was in college and received a statement necklace in a Secret Santa gift exchange. I even kept that piece until recently. This trend was huge in 2010. Thick chains, the famous heart necklaces, which I think will definitely make a comeback, and those big plastic gemstones. The idea was to grab attention, and of course, it all tied in perfectly with the trends of the time, especially with strong references to Gossip Girl. So, you had big, eye-catching, embellished pieces for fall 2025 and winter 2026 fashion. You can still invest in statement necklaces, but they're coming back a bit more elegant and sophisticated. They usually won't feature as many stones. What we'll see a lot of are more organic shapes that liquid metal or twisted metal look, so it won't be exactly the same as in 2010. You can also go for chains. Bigger, thicker chains will remain very fashionable. And you can be creative if you want to bring back those large gemstone or plastic pieces. You absolutely can. As I always say here, personal style is the most important thing. If you're not totally comfortable with large, chunky necklaces, I recommend doing a necklace mix instead. You can layer 3 or 4 thinner necklaces for a similar, though not identical effect, and you'll find it easier to style. In fact, statement necklaces are excellent when paired with more basic, minimalist looks. This is a strong 2026 trend. Simple outfits with maximalist accessories. You can wear them with jeans and a t-shirt, or tailored trousers with a white tee. All of these looks work perfectly with both statement necklaces and larger, bold earrings. So, don't worry if you love this trend. You can keep wearing it. If you don't, you can adapt it. Just remember, we're not wearing everything together. No mixing a peplum blouse with a pencil skirt, platform shoes, and a statement necklace that would look like a 2010 Tumblr costume. When styling this trend, follow our golden rule. Avoid adding all the other elements so it doesn't look too literal or costume-like. In fourth place on our list, we have Uggs. This type of boot is very comfortable and was a huge hit. It's a suede boot, generally worn in the fall but mainly in the winter. And of course, all this style was popularized by divas like Paris, Hilton, and Britney, right guys? They brought that chic look, mixing elements that had the vibe of a rich heiress with very comfortable features. They have recently reappeared. In fact, the last time I went shopping, I saw a pair. I thought it was super interesting because it's a trend we are already seeing in stores, so it won't be long before it becomes a big trend again. They return with this comfortable appeal, creating winter outfits that are stylish, which can be paired with coats, including those faux fur coats that are in fashion. They can even be paired with dresses, but I think they look amazing with pants, jeans, leather pants, and they'll bring a really interesting aesthetic. If I had to guess how this piece will be worn in 2026, I'd say it will be closely associated with those lace-up jeans that have a pajama-like vibe. They're fresher, more comfortable, with that loose, at-home feel, and they match perfectly with this cozy, Y2K aesthetic. I also think they'll be paired a lot with sweaters, especially those oversized ones, but they can also be worn with a fitted, tight t-shirt, bringing that 2010 reference. So, you can create super interesting looks with this piece, but I'd say it's a piece that reminds me of staying at home. It's not something I'd wear out on the street, especially because it's very easy to get dirty, right, ladies? So you need to take care of the suede. But for staying home, especially on colder days, this shoe is perfect. Tell me how you usually wear this type of shoe, if you wear it or if you don't. I want to know. In third place, we have combat boots. This type of boot was a huge part of the 2010 style, especially the Dr. Martens brand. This brand made the style extremely popular, and it was part of indie style, grunge style, and of course, alternative style. They were often worn with ripped jeans, loose jeans, and the iconic plaid shirts typical of grunge, especially if paired with band t-shirts. They were also part of a more alternative look, very present on Tumblr at the time. So, I'm sure you've wanted to own a pair like this, especially if you were an internet user around 2010. In fall 2025 and winter 2026 fashion, combat boots are still trending. They can be worn within a more alternative style, or in contrast, for example, with ultra-feminine dresses that will add a creative touch to the look. The most interesting thing is that now you can find them in all sorts of colors and finishes, from styles with spikes and elements tied to rock chic and rock and roll, to super cute and delicate versions in pink, blue, or even light tones like off-white. So, there's a combat boot for everyone. I'm very biased when it comes to combat boots because I used to have a collection of them. Right now, I only have one, a gift from my husband, because he knows how much I love them. I think they're excellent, especially for daily wear. I wear them everywhere. I'm a big fan of Mary Jane's and also of combat boots, two completely opposite styles, but ones I personally adore. They're practical, so if you're a woman who needs practicality, I highly recommend owning a pair. They're especially great for situations where you'll be in contact with nature or walking a lot, as they're usually comfortable and durable. They're not the kind of shoe that will leave your feet sore or make you want to take them off halfway through the day. They protect you, and that's exactly why I love them. Whenever I know I'll be standing for a long time or doing many activities, I put on my combat boots and feel at ease. In fact, one time, a pair of combat boots prevented my husband from breaking his foot. That's right, he was going down the stairs, tripped, and only avoided serious injury because he was wearing them. Amazing, right? So, if I already loved combat boots before, I became even more passionate after knowing they saved my husband's foot. If you're going to do something a little risky, go with combat boots. And for everyday wear, they're wonderful and they're back in style. If you love fashion, beauty, and trends, you really should subscribe, because here on the channel, we post videos every day, always about fashion, beauty, and trends. And of course, always firsthand, so you never fall behind and always know what you have, what you don't have, and what you might want to wear or not wear. I always share conscious fashion tips so you don't waste money, and so you don't throw away pieces that might come back in style soon, and then you'd regret it, right? So keep an eye on the channel. And how do you do that? Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so YouTube will let you know every time a new video is posted. And second place among the pieces from 2010 that have come back into fashion, we have belts. Belts were very common. Who doesn't remember seeing those celebrities who wore belts with everything? Especially those thin belts that were used to cinch the waist, whether over a blouse, over a dress, or even the wider belts with metallic buckles that came with jeans, especially those low-rise jeans. I'm sure you remember at least one singer or celebrity wearing them. If you followed Britney, I'm sure you remember her looks. This type of piece was functional and aesthetic, very present in Tumblr looks, and, of course, in street style. In 2025 and 2026, this trend is making a comeback, now more versatile, as we'll see both larger and smaller belts, all types of buckles, because now the belt returns as the main piece. The idea here is to have a statement piece, something that stands out. You can wear this belt over a blazer, pair it with a dress, and of course, it's strongly associated with the boho chic style, which has made a full comeback in 2025. You can also get very creative by wearing more than one belt, using belts made entirely of metal, which bring that hip chic touch. You can even choose bags to match the belt, which will also bring practicality and a more conceptual, runway-inspired look to your outfit. If you already liked belts, you can celebrate because they're back in full force. And in first place, we have the one that, until just a few days ago, was out of fashion. I'm talking about the bandage dress. This dress was an icon of 2010 fashion and brought a lot of references to parties, nightclubs, and celebrities. It's a tight-fitting dress, usually worn with high heels and shiny accessories, especially back then. In the fall of 2025 and winter of 2026, it returns with more balance and sophistication. It can be paired again with statement necklaces, but now with slightly more sophisticated pieces to give it a more modern touch. My tip is, if you're going to invest in a bandage dress, don't go for an overly caricatured one, you know? The kind that looks like an old dress. Choose one that's a little more understated, with some texture or detailing so it doesn't look too old-fashioned or out of style. This trend is coming back, but you have to be careful. It's returning mainly because several influencers have brought back brands of this type of dress with extremely high-quality dresses that make you look like a goddess. They don't show any little bulges or cellulite, but if you buy from just anywhere, you might regret it, especially if the fabric doesn't have the right tension to smooth out those small imperfections. So be careful. It's not a dress that will please everyone. It's very reminiscent of those very tight and long dresses that were in fashion last year, but now we don't see them as much. They look great in photos, but for daily wear, maybe not so much. So you need to be cautious. This dress has a nightclub vibe, so it's not something you'd wear to the bakery or grocery store, unless of course it's part of your style. If you like this more glamorous nightlife look, you'll pair perfectly with this piece. To soften the look of this dress and avoid a costume-like feel, I'd suggest pairing it with shoes that don't have a platform, especially pumps or even slingbacks, which will bring even more sophistication. I'd also suggest a small or medium bag. Avoid large bags, as they'll also bring back that 2010 reference and could give it a costume feel. And for accessories, of course, you can go for a statement necklace, but I'd also suggest that, to avoid looking too caricatured, you could choose large earrings instead. That way, you'll also draw attention to your face and eyes, but without that costume-like feel. The key is to take these small precautions, because that's what makes the difference between dressing with a 2010 reference and creating a 2010 costume. Now, if you want to know everything that's back in fashion and everything that will be in style in 2026, you need to check out the video where I share 50 trends for 2026 that appeared on runways and on websites, with lots of references and photos for you to get inspired. Don't waste time. Want to know what they are? Just click on the video that's showing up on your screen right now. I'll see you there.